Welcome everyone, hola, to Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Spain, sunny Spain, where the power's back, so we have a full grid and a full set of fans if you look in the stands. And if you're watching this on YouTube in 2 years' time, there was a power cut in Spain and Portugal, that's why that's relevant. Hello, Alex Foulkes.
There was a power cut in Spain and Portugal. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Anyway,
not just a power cut, Alex. The whole country was out of power. It was wild.
is that not what a power cut is?
Yeah, but like not just localized to Barcelona or Valencia. It was the whole country.
Well, we're now the news channel, and we're not a racing broadcast anymore.
Yes.
Better than BBC News.
If you're watching this in the dystopian future, yes, Trump is in power. There was a power cut in Spain. But you're not. You're watching this live on YouTube with myself and Alex.
Yes, you're watching in the dystopian present.
Yeah. And this is Formula Sprint 2, where we turn up every other Tuesday and watch some action for about an hour and a half and have a nice time. And that is the plan this evening, Alex. And currently in practice, Julio Lopez and Sandeep Singh are topping the time sheets. And they have been two championship protagonists so far this season, have they not?
Protagonists.
Yes, all right, yes.
Yes. They have been, but Lopez not so much anymore. He's had... Did he even finish in the points in the last 4 races? I don't think he has.
He won the first race with Saudi.
In the last 4 in Saudi? Did he?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes.
He didn't finish in a
Race
good
2,
position
no.
last time around.
He also had DNF and did not start at Japan as well. So you know,
Yeah. So
balance is out.
he's like P4 now, and it is Casper Kuritz. Is it Casper Kuritz? It is
No.
Casper Kuritz.
No, it's
And,
Sandeep Singh leading.
And Sandeep Singh at the top.
Yeah.
Singh is ahead, obviously.
But
I looked at the standings by 2 points.
Ein Punkt, one point.
Is it one?
Look very hard.
I don't know anymore. I looked a week ago.
Yeah, well,
it's
things
the
have
thought that
changed.
counts.
Some things have shuffled. So we have had a couple of penalties come out. So maybe that's perhaps why you're a little bit behind, which is fine, understandable. Yeah, so basically, Klaffenberg got a 10-place grid penalty for exceeding track limits in qualifying. And then after he had his drive-through penalty removed, it's been reinstated to a 20-second time penalty for race 1. So he absolutely did exceed track limits, and the manual review for the DC showed that, and I think that's completely fair enough, to be honest with you. You can't just do a race, get a drive-through, ask for it to be removed, and hope for the best. It's just stay within track limits. It's really easy. For me, it's so black and white. If you exceed track limits, regardless of what happens after, whether you lift or whatever, you've exceeded track limits. It's black and white. You don't go to Donington Park in real life and go to Jonathan Palmer and go, please can I have my qualifying lap back? It's black and white. You'd lose it. And the same in the race. If you get 3 strikes, you get a drive-through penalty. It's simple as that. I don't understand why. It's an automated system in real life. In the MSV tracks, they literally have sensors, and if you exceed track limits, the sensor goes off, and it counts against your transponder. For me, it's black and white. But there we are. Some other penalties as well. Manu Manikandan got a 30-place grid drop and 3 license points for rejoining into the path of Josh Flynn in race 2.
License win.
Yeah, it was a big one. If you remember, he sort of left the track.
I'm saying, is it that it? That's
Well, yeah, 30-place grid drop. He's not here today. He's been replaced by Christos Philo. Karatko got a 5-second time penalty. Kurt Rotiov as well, 5 seconds, and Jörn Dix 5 place because he was outside the points in race 2 as well. So clearing all of that up means that the results did change a bit, especially race 1. That's why Julio Lopez won the race, even though it was Klaffenberg, which is why you're confused. Or not confused, that's the bad word, sorry. I should say.
Out of date.
Don't remember him winning. Yes, exactly, yeah. So here is Christos Philo, who, driving for ST Racing, is replacing Manu Manikandan. And actually, in practice was, as you can see, he was P8 in practice. So plenty fast enough is Christus. And he's on his outlap now. A reminder for anyone who's new, this is private qualifying, so you might see one car on the track, but that does not mean to say there is one car on the track. There is lots. They're everywhere.
Is there 32 today? There is 32 today. We've got the full grid, the full lineup.
Yep.
Yeah, that I don't think we've had that so far, actually, apart from race 1. I genuinely don't think we've had a full starting grid.
Well, I think we had Alice Stone removed herself from Jeddah after practice, didn't she? I think.
Yes.
So I think it might have been full until that point. Yeah, after qualifying, sorry. So yeah, it's certainly nice to see a full contingent of Formula Sprint 2 drivers today. Here's Philo starting his lap. He will use as much track as possible. You are allowed to have 2 wheels on the red and white curbs, and where there isn't a curb, you have to be 2 wheels within the white lines, which Sfilo demonstrated on the way into turn 1 and will presumably demonstrate here as well, to buy as much room as you can into the sweeping right-hander. Oh, a little bit too much oversteer there. Tightens the line through the exit, downhill into the left-hander. Very easy to get quite a lot of understeer on the apex of that corner. Sfilo hooks it up nicely. Shortest line possible for the fast left-right chicane, using as much track as possible. Actually, there was a little bit to spare. And then, is this flat out in a Formula Sprint 2 car? It looked fairly easily flat out. And then down the long back straight. And the track layout here, as well as the previous corner, has changed over the years. Now we do the kind of old style track layout before Tilke got his grubby mitts on it and shortened the straight and made it a tighter corner. It's actually a better corner now. And we also skip the nasty, horrible chicane that has been in place, I guess, around 2008-ish, 7-ish, something like that, until about 2018 or 19 or 20, something like that. They changed it back again, which is nice to see. So the last corner is actually meaningful. Sfilo set to time good enough for P12. Falkenhayn, currently the fastest driver in qualifying. Yet to set a time. I haven't seen Singh's name pop up just yet. Cell P2, my bad. I cannot read. Jürgen Dix is on a lap as well. Yet to set a time. Vicentievich and Thijs Jongstra as well. Yet to set a time. Junior Lopez as well is also in that list.
Okay, the circuit was reworked in 21, just so we're all aware. It wasn't 19 or 20 or something. You said 19 or 20, I believe.
Yeah.
I only remember this because it was the year that Hamilton and Verstappen were battling, and that year Hamilton came back after what seemed like a terrible strategy, actually came back and won the race 30 seconds behind. So, of course, no strategy in Formula Sprint 2, just qualify, sprint, and then there's another race, which if you're P11, you won't get reverse gridded pole in.
New viewers won't get it, but reverse grid is 10 to 15, P10 to P15. And for whatever reason, Alex Foulkes has designed a spreadsheet to tell us how often those positions get reverse grid, and P11 hasn't had one since like the beginning of last season.
Oh, longer than that. Canada 2023.
I love how you got that info to hand, but not the standings.
Yes. Well, it's a fact I've had for longer, and I look at it every race because I have the spreadsheet every race. So, but I don't look at the standings because that's not fun.
No.
It isn't interesting to look at someone else's spreadsheet.
It's actually not that relevant either right now in this stage of the championship.
No, but it's funny.
It gets a bit more fruity when you get to about Spa, doesn't it? Then we can start talking about the championship seriously. Right now, it's just an indication of performance. Look at this line that Junior Lopez will take. I'm an advocate for 2 wheels within the white lines, to be brutally honest. But these are the rules in GPVWC, and it's perfectly fine to have these rules. It just means that certain tracks, certain corners just do look a little bit silly. But there we go. That's how it do. Look at that, using all of the extra sausage there, Alex.
Yes. he was using as much of the track space as he possibly could. Now, what I would like to see for just maybe one race in GPVWC is to change that rule on track extending to be sort of like we have in IndyCar, which is if you can drive on it, it's allowed. And I'd be interested to see how that would go with the FS2 cars. I imagine it would unsettle quite a few of them, but I think that would lead to an interesting race. I know some people wouldn't like it, but I think it would be pretty fun.
It would be fun. I don't think it should be a championship race. Maybe like an NC.
I'm not saying
Junior
a
Lopez
championship
goes
race, but...
top, by the way. 28 actually, the first time in the... can I do maths? I think it's the first time in the 28 this session.
It is. Barely, but it is.
Is Koritz round the final corner. Koritz currently sitting in P2 in the championship, just 1 point back. P7 currently on the grid. Koritz has been very, very consistent, apart from race 2 at Saudi Arabia after that incident with Skinner? Question mark? It was Ben Skinner, right, in the RNG car, where they came together on the straight, and he had a variety of issues in that race. But till then, he was pretty consistent. 4th, 2nd, 3rd, 8th, 3rd, 2nd, 2nd.
Race 2? Race 1?
Race 2.
Race 2, he drove off the track and got a drive-through penalty.
Yes, but before that, he had that incident with Skinner, right? On the straight.
I don't think he had an incident, I think.
Yeah, they made contact, did they not? Sure they did. Where Skinner moved to the left and Koritz left it too late to duck out of his slipstream.
Oh yeah, it was very, very slight. I think I remember it, but the cars are... I can see it in my head. I can see what you're talking about. I just can't remember what cars it were.
It was sure it was Koritz and Skinner. I'm going to read the YouTube. Someone tell me in the YouTube chat.
Someone will know better than us, which is funny, really.
So, someone, do me a favor, go back and watch race 2. No, actually, don't do that. After this, DM me. Watch this now, and then DM me about what that incident was. Falkenhayn, P3. Improves his lap, not his position. Singh has also gone quicker to go P2 right now.
Yeah. The reason Lopez was able to set that lap a few laps ago now, was because he invalidated his first lap. He was purple in the first sector, but I think he went off somewhere in the second sector and completely invalidated it and didn't really... couldn't do a lap, couldn't set a time because it's not allowed, as Charlotte Menink moves up to 28th for Venus Motorsports. Nothing more to say about that, really.
Yeah. There's a rejoin cone on the exit of turn 2, entry to turn 3 that they have to go around when rejoining the track. It's important to note that, actually, because there will be some people running wide through that first corner. Here's Florian Haase, driving for Blue Horns, sets a lap time at good enough for 22nd, just behind his teammate, who's in 20th right now.
Yep, and here's the first of the hot performance racing cars up in P14 now. I was about to say in P18, but they've advanced a little bit. And I've just seen Patrick Magnussen put a nice little reference to something that happened 2 years ago in the chat of whether we can do slipstream during qualifying. And this references the time that Patrick Magnussen, who almost won the championship last season, asked me, while I was his teammate at Monza, whether we could slipstream in private qualifying. And there's no... You can't see the other cars. You can't slipstream the other cars. It was just a bit of a daft suggestion, and I think we should all laugh about it right now. Just laugh at him. In the chat, laugh at him, and call him an idiot.
Yes, but no actual bullying.
No bullying. Don't bully him, just laugh at him.
No, hashtag no bullying. 12th to 5th, James Knox went whilst we were nattering away then. We are now watching Vicentijevic come through the final corner. Green so far in his lap, only half a second down. Let's see what he can actually do. Crosses the line, P29. The field's quite close here, actually, which sends shivers down my spine for some of the other series, how close qualifying might be. It's a relatively easy track compared to Jeddah, for sure. In terms of like skill level, it's nice and wide. It's proper old school F1 track, built for F1, not a street track with silly walls and curbs everywhere. They use it for testing extensively. I mean, pretty much everyone knows this track, right? You know, like the back of their hands. It's if you're a motorsports fan, you'll know this track anyway. It's a MotoGP track. It's been used in F1 for 25 years or something like that. So in various forms. I mean, the corner we just went through, the flat out right hander, used to be a scary old chicane. I think it's called Lacaxia chicane or something like that. I'm going to Google that right now. Yeah.
If it's anything, it's the Kaiksa, which was a sponsor of the circuit a few years ago.
Oh no, my bad. Kamsa corner. Yeah, Lacaxia.
Okay.
Now I'm confused. I thought it was the other way around.
Because Kaiksa's that like logo with the blue star and the yellow circle next to it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Lacaxia is the left-hander at the end of that straight. But yeah, it was the Kamsa corner and then into the Nissan chicane apparently. Here is Ben Skinner. We were mentioning him. So the track, you can kind of still see it. It used to go straight on here a little bit, halfway through the corner.
There it is.
There, and then there was a chicane afterwards, and it was a scary old thing. Because the wall hasn't moved in those years. It's still there, and they never use that part of the track anymore. But used to be a horrific corner. In '94, after that terrible weekend at San Marino, they rushed into putting chicanes, mobile chicanes, and all sorts of stuff, modifying the tracks after that. So you ended up with a chicane, a cone chicane at Eau Rouge at Spa. Kamsa corner had a tyre chicane in the middle of the track. They modified the Montreal track. So Montreal back straight used to not have a straight, used to have like a chicane randomly in the middle. Again, they put a tyre barrier there. That was legit what they had to drive through during the race. It's wild. And the 94 race as well at Spain, very interesting because Schumacher was stuck in 5th gear pretty much the entire race, and somehow coaxed it to 2nd position. Such was his ability. And after Senna passed away in that season, I mean, frankly, it was a very rubbish field for F1 driver standards. You pretty much just had Schumacher. Obviously, Damon Hill ended up winning a championship, but there was no Villeneuve. Hakkinen was just joined McLaren at the end of '93, so he was kind of getting into his career. There really wasn't many good drivers. I mean, even at Benetton, the championship-winning car for Schumacher, they had JJ Leto and Jos Verstappen sharing a seat because they were both pretty rubbish. And Johnny Herbert ended up coming in at the end of the season, and even he wasn't that good. Won a couple of races in '95 thanks to Hill and Schumacher smashing each other about. So very interesting season '94. Very sad, but very interesting for a variety of reasons. If you aren't up to date with it, just have a good old Google of that. Anyway, qualifying. There's 55 seconds left, Alex, and Junior Lopez sits atop the timesheets right now. Kurt Rotjav has done purple first, green middle, moves up to 6th position from 13th. So Rotjav has one more attempt to go. Who do you think will be on pole?
Well, considering Singh's in the pit lane, and it's really only Watson and Falkenhayn that look as if they can challenge Lopez's position on provisional pole so far. As we look at Ockenhaug, who's 4 attempts down in that middle sector, hopefully crossing the line, and probably will be doing one more after this to try and improve his position. But wow, that's a great final sector from Ockenhaug to move himself up to P8, a 27.455 in that final sector. But here's Lopez then improving in that first sector more than he did on his first attempt on that first lap. 4 hundredths of a second for Lopez now as we head through this tight chicane onto the sausage curb, and really making use of all the track he had available there. Even if it risks unsettling the car, it's the kind of risk that Lopez is going to take in this qualifying session. Falkenhayn does improve his second sector, but still probably won't be able to make up the difference he has to Junior Lopez on this current lap. But here's Falkenhayn. He's 600ths down in that second sector, but 5 hundredths to the purple, isn't able to improve in the final sector. Lopez abandons his lap, and Falkenhayn unable to take pole. And unless we see Karatko or Rochov? Rochov doesn't improve. Kerala's on a lap here, and does look as if he can improve potentially up a few positions, maybe behind Rochov in P6 here, as we come around the final corner for what will be one of the final times in this qualifying session. Yunus Kerala. Let's see whether he can improve this P11 to something better. And he does to P7. Oh, immediately put down, though, by Domenico Scarpelli, who crosses the line to take P6.
Yeah. Rochav, Scarpelli, and Karatko, 5th, 6th, and 7th. You can see who's in the pit and who isn't, by the way. The reason we know that. The numbers highlighted white on the left-hand side of the timing tower are those still out on track. But that is everyone's lap complete. Rochav still out on track, but he crossed the line after the checker flag flew. So this is your grid for race 1 of round 5 of Formula Sprint 2. Junior Lopez for Cap Clay on pole position by almost a tenth from Sandeep Singh. Falkenhayn, as we said, P3, and Amari Watson P4. Damir Karatko in P5. Domenico Scarpelli in P6 with Kurt Rochav 7th. Yunus Kerala in 8th position with James Knox 9th. And Magnus Ockenhaug in P10. 11th goes to Casper Kurtz. He'll be disappointed with that, considering he's P2 in the championship. Ben Skinner, P12. 13th goes to Tormala. Kustas Filo standing in for Manakandan in 14th. Samui Slavev in 15th. Glamsetter in 16th for the academy team. Johannes Lepit in 17th. Thijs Youngstra, 18th position. Andrea Kanaya in 19th. And Joe Gillette, 20th. Not sure you can separate that into 2 syllables. Josh Flynn, 21st. Philip Chavinsky, 22nd position. Victor Bernat in 23rd for the academy team. Shimon Kanda, 24th. Jörn Dix in 25th. Florian Haase in 26th position. Mauro Tazzoli in 27th position. Bobby Vakunov in 28th. Justin Van Schmissen in 29th position. Mihailo Vicentijevic in 30th. And then we have the 2 Venus Motorsports drivers of Caitlin Penny and Charlotte Menning. Reminder, if you're new to GPVWC, this is the lowest rung of the career ladder. There is Academy as well, which you can just sign up to and drive. No real championship there. This is the sort of first championship with teams on our ladder, and Formula Sprint 2 is kind of the entry level for that. You can try and get a drive with the team at GPVWC on our Discord. All the links are in the description of the YouTube video description thing. Right, warm up, Mr. Foulkes.
What do we talk about today? What's the plan, Toby? Any ideas?
Priority 1 is to discuss about the championship, I would say.
Is it?
Do you see what I did there? Yes,
yeah,
because
I did. You should not talk ever again.
Oh well, you say that every week, and I'm still here.
I do. You're still here, unfortunately.
Very tight at the top of the championship. Sandeep Singh leading by a point from Casper Kurtz, and only 5 points back of that is Amari Watson, captain consistent. Yeah, Mr. Not remarkable, but markable. He has had a race win at Turkey. But otherwise very, very consistent for Amari Watson. And then Junior Lopez, he's had a first, third, fourth, third, then a DNF, and then it did not start because his pedals fell off, and then a first and a DNF. So, you know, I feel like Lopez could be very strong as the season goes on, and certainly is one to keep a beady old eye on. And we know Falkenhayn's quick as well. He's won at Turkey. P3 today in qualifying. I mean, surely at some point he's going to do well in a race 1.
Surely. But there we go. There's a championship discussed.
Well, thanks for your input there, Alex. Nice to speak to you as always about the championship.
The warm up is not for the championship.
Oh,
the races
sorry.
are for the championship.
No, you're absolutely right. Do you want to know some fun facts about Barcelona?
When did we start this? Was it Singapore last year? I think it was.
I feel like it was Barcelona last year, was it not?
Yes, it was, because you had a list of
I
fun
had
facts
so
about.
many. I mean, I remember half of them.
I've also been to Barcelona, and it's very beautiful. They have a very like large number of straight line roads, though. It's a bit weird.
It's like a grid. In the European city, that's very odd.
Like most cities in Europe are just kind of random assortment of buildings slammed together in just whatever order they feel like as, you know, medieval times progressed into modern age. It's not like America where they're all built for cars. Like nothing's been built for cars in Europe. Unless you get one of those new age rubbish cities like Milton Keynes.
Just casually throw in the Milton Keynes slander. Go ahead.
Oh, we went there. We've been there a couple of times for GPVWC Day, which is a fun event that we do once a year in the kind of November, December time, which hopefully will be in the UK this year, so I can go and don't have to fork out lots of dollar for flights and stuff. If I fancy actually going to this one. Went to the one not last year, the year before, which was, believe it or not, Milton Keynes, which is pretty fun. You should come this year, Alex. If it's in the UK. That's true.
Yeah, if it's in the UK, I will. I'm saying that now that I will, because I can and I want to actually. Yeah, GPVWC Day. When is it this year? When is the next one? When is it?
Oh, it hasn't been announced yet. I mean, Will Panisi, who is our Lord and Saviour, will tell us when he's sort of ready to.
When he does, I'll be sure to announce it on the FS2 broadcast for sure.
But yeah, I mean, it was in Cardiff 10 years ago, which was. I hope it comes back there. That was nice and local for me.
Yeah.
I literally walked into and out of town to attend that one, and won the karting.
Lorenzo wants Geogrid again.
I'm not playing. We don't do the same thing every week. It wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. Well, we talked about food for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, true.
We could do Wordle.
That's boring, though.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I could play Wordle and not tell you what I'm doing. That would be really good commentary.
That'd be awesome commentary, yeah.
We'll start with the word tired. I've got
Okay.
one orange in.
Play along with me, Alex, so you can actually help.
Alright,
got one left.
let me get Wordle up.
Yeah, go on, quickly. We've only got like 4 minutes.
Which one is it? Is it like the New York Times
New York
one?
Times
Which
one, yeah, but
Yeah, other Wordles are available.
What word was it?
tired with an I.
Okay. Tired.
So we've got an orange eye.
We have an orange eye.
So I'm thinking like plain.
Plain.
Okay, we can do plain. That's
Should
fine.
we plain? We've got plain.
Do plain.
Ooh, we got a green L.
We got an L.
So we could do. We could do like.
Like L-I, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like blink, but there's no N.
What about slick?
Yes, I love it. Slick. Oh. So we got the S, but it's in the wrong place. It is
Yes.
L-I. It could be bliss.
BLI
Could be bliss.
We put
Hmm.
bliss in.
Let's put bliss in.
Let's put bliss in. Oh, bosh.
God.
There we go.
In 4.
Nice.
Nice.
I hope everyone enjoyed us doing that.
Yes. It'd be better if we could like get a GPVWC Wordle on the screen.
Oh yeah, so like 5-letter names, like Tyan
Hmm. I can't
or Davis, I suppose. Why I didn't think
yeah,
of
you
it
got
first.
Davis. Svilo, Clont.
Yeah. Crop.
Yep. There's probably many more.
If you have a
Lopez.
5 Lopez.
Parza?
Yes. Yes. Micah, Matush Micah.
Dix.
Yes.
Penny.
Yes.
we've got quite a few on today's grid.
Yeah, it should be a great thing. It wouldn't last very long. It's soon
No,
run out of words.
it would be a bit for about
Plus-
5 minutes, and then
Yeah. Ask Fabian to show seed and standings. Okay, show seed and standings, please.
do
Fabian
we have
is
a
eating.
graphic for the standings? Oh,
Here we
look
go.
at this.
Oh. Why didn't we show that when we were talking about it? I blame Fabian. Okay. Well, there we go. Can we see any past the top 10, Fabian?
Oh.
What do you mean? Oh, it's only the top 10. Okay. Well, there you go. Those are the standings. So you can see who's done what in what round. These are rounds, not races. So there's 2 rounds per round. So there's 2 races per round. So there's been 8 rounds. No, there's been 8 races on the 4 rounds so far. And this is the first race of round 5. And if that's clear to you, it's good, because it's not clear to me.
How did Singh get 108 points in race 4?
Yeah, Hmm.
I don't think that adds up.
Well, it does. Just not correctly.
It does add up to a number, yes.
We could work out what he actually scored. 108
Let's see.
minus 37 minus 27 plus 20. 24. How did you get that so quickly, Fabian?
Calculator.
Big brain. Certainly bigger than mine.
Oh, look at that! It's changed live. That's the production quality we have here at FS2.
How
Wow.
did that happen? Look at that. It's almost like... Oh, this is some B-Tech commentary today. I'm going to have to step it up a bit, Alex.
BTEC? I don't even think we get like a pass for this at BTEC.
This is like foundation. Anyway,
What's SA SAT? Is that commentary?
SATs.
I feel like we'd fail that as well.
SATs.
Yeah. It's easy to say
What's-
SAT. Nah. It's like the primary school level thing. Level 1.
Headhunter got locked out of his house. I want to know the full story there. He's put that in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Please do talk to us in the YouTube chat. Sometimes we read it.
Sometimes.
A lot of it is, well, some of it is not safe for broadcasting. What are you doing? My cat is upside down, hanging off my desk right now.
Upside. That just sounds like normal cat behavior, Toby. I don't know what you mean.
She is certainly, yeah. I don't know whether you call a cat that behaves weirdly normal, but like, or is a weird cat? I don't know. That's a conundrum, isn't it? Is a normal cat one that behaves weirdly? So what would you call a weird cat? One that behaves normally, but then what is normal? Isn't it just weird?
Normal is weird. And so a cat that is weird. I prefer not to think about it. It hurts my brain.
I certainly prefer not to think. How was your
Yeah,
day,
that's
Toby
easy.
and Alex and Fabian? Says Pishkan. Not bad.
Fabian, how was your day? I don't think we even asked you.
Mine or Fabian?
Answer,
Yeah,
we
how's
can
your-
answer for you.
Yeah, we'll tell them what you said, Fabian. Why? Oh no.
That's terrible.
I'm so sorry. Anyway, we've got the first race coming up now. And it is going to be fun, is it not, Alex?
Yes, it should be. Cars will go around a track. There'll be a winner of the race, and then whoever finishes in PLN. Oh, this joke's already got old.
Do
There'll
you
be 15
think-
points finishes,
do you
and the
think your
last one
brain
will be.
Will your brain explode if there's a P11 reverse grid?
I think it might. I think I'd just have to go and walk away for about 10 minutes and then come back.
Oh,
and
we can all dream.
What? Wow.
Nope. Right, so the grid's slowly filling. Thankfully, I did the results from qualifying, so it's your turn to do the grid.
Yeah, thanks.
You're Welks.
What? Why are we even shortening this word?
No?
Why are we shortening welcome?
Can I not? Have you ever had a
silly.
Welk, by the way? They're very strange.
A whelk? I don't even know what a whelk is.
It's like a mussel.
No.
It's like a fishy thing.
Is it?
It's a bit odd. This Welk is like WHELK. You know. Right, the grid, Alex.
Yes, there's a grid. There it is. There's the grid. Nuno Lopez takes pole with Sandeep Singh behind him in P2. Falkenhayn lines up third with Mario Watson in fourth. Fifth is Danik Kratko and Scarpelli, P6. Kurt Rochov, seventh, and Yunus Kerala in P8. Then there's James Knox for Excellion Motorsports, chased by Magnus Lockenhaug in P10, Kasper Kuritz and Ben Skinner, 11th and 12th. Then it's Mikhail Tuamala for 13th, Svilo 14th, Shlevev starts P15 with Christian Glamsetter starting P16. P17 then is Johannes Lepit for Hut Performance Engineering, it's actually called it, with Thijs Jongstra in 18th behind him. Andreas Shinagaya for VMS Summit, it's P19, and someone was P20, hold on. Joe Gillette was P20. Josh Flynn, 21st, with Philip Savinsky in 22nd, with Victor Bernat and Shimon Kanda, 23rd and 24th. Florian Hasa is 25th, with Tozzoli for Reading Game behind him, but with Akinov in 27th. Van der Smissen, 28th. Halo Vjentevich in 29th with Ian Dix behind him, and the two Venus Motorsports cars of Caitlin Penny and Charlotte Menink, 31st and 32nd. Now then, Toby, that was a short formation lap, actually.
Yeah, we have to do that a bit more promptly on that as well. I mean, there's 32 cars. They're already on the start-finish straight at the front, the back of the grid. It must have been quite a fast one for the field to be spread out in such a way, which is interesting. It's a bit of a tactique from Lopez, I would say. Bit of a tic-tac.
I saw Lopez coming onto the straight, and then I see who's at the back? Menink, a sector behind.
Right, they're all on the grid now. Here come the lights. They won't go out because the electricity's on, but they will soon. Bosh! Lopez gets away well. Singh even better. What a start from Sandeep Singh. Straight through into the lead of the race. I think he's going to be able to sweep through. I think he might still have a no back. No, he does indeed take that position unchallenged down into turn one and moves into the lead of the race. Watson and Falkenhayn very close. I think Falkenhayn might have made contact, and already he's been swallowed up by Karatko, and behind him it's 2x2 through turn three. Very, very easy to lose the rear here, even in these underpowered cars for the corner, because it's dirty air. And the field all seems to have got through fairly cleanly as we head down the hill towards turn 4 and 5. And the left-hand hairpin is kind of where the field starts to settle out, although side by side we've got Scarpelli alongside Falkenhayn, and they will fly towards the fast left-right chicane. Now it's going to be single file, and Scarpelli P5 off the grid.
Yep. And we already have a yellow in sector 2. It looks like Penny and Ian Dix down quite a distance in 31st and 32nd, as Thijs Jongstra actually retires from this race. There's a few more changes of position. Oh, that's a lot going on back there. Joe Gillette. There's so many cars. Tozzoli, Gillette. It looks like Josh Flynn, and there's
Sentievich involved.
Vicentievich.
Yeah, okay. Let's see that again in a minute. Vicentievich got glowing red rear brakes, so something crazy's happened there. Let's find that out shortly. But currently, Singh and Lopez just 3/10 from each other and fighting their way down at the start-finish straight to start lap 2. No DRS in these cars, just very powerful slipstream as they are underpowered and draggy, and Singh holds on to that lead. He got before the very first corner, but Lopez is giving him a run for his money as they exit the flat-out turn 3 and towards turn 4. Can Lopez make a move, or is he going to wait for the hairpin? Is he potentially going to wait for the back straight? Jinx out to the left. Tries to look for the outside line, but Singh has it covered. And it is as you were. But these two looking like they're definitely the class of the field, as Lopez thinks about making a move down the inside of Singh, but nothing doing there.
Yeah, there was nothing he really could do. Singh closed that space perfectly in the defense there. But yeah, that incident, we're coming up to the corner that it happened. I'm surprised there's no debris left on the track. But it seems like Lopez, with the higher downforce setup this time around, able to stay close to Singh and close enough through the corners to get onto the straights with a decent slipstream effect. To be able to stay with Singh. So that low downforce setup not really helping Singh anywhere else than the starts, which he has been very good at throughout the entire season so far, actually. He's had some amazing starts off the line. And so what we've seen here is nothing but what we expected. But on board now with Lopez along the main straight. Singh sets the fastest lap of the race. And there's a bit of swerving going on down the straight, but Lopez here in the slipstream moves to the outside, probably too far back to make any kind of move on Singh there, and I exactly was too far to make a move, and I think Falkenhayn has got past James Knox in the background, but this battle at the front is still very much on, and Lopez closer this time around than he was on the last lap, later on the brakes than he was last lap, and tries to hold around the outside, but the potential on the inside is just too powerful. Lopez tries to go late to the inside, but once again, that space is shut down by Sandeep Singh.
Yeah, I think Lopez, as you say, he's definitely got a higher wing level, higher drag setup. He's very good in those first 3 corners, isn't he? He always gets to run into turn 4 on Singh, but Singh, through these fast, flat-out corners, gets a little bit of a gap. He's just got less downforce, less drag, and it's helping him especially get out of this, although he's made a bit of an error there. He's lost a little bit of time on the apex, and the lower downforce setup won't help him too much with the right-hander, but these fast, flat-out final 2 corners really benefits Singh before the slipstream starts to really take hold as they get to higher speed. He gets that bit of a gap, and then it's almost too far back for Lopez as they get onto the start-finish straight. And Singh has 3.5 km/h advantage in his car setup, inherent in his car setup. It wasn't enough for pole, but it's making his car much more raceable.
Yeah, and Lopez here, further than he was on any of his previous attempts, and it really showed there the sort of snowball effect of that slipstream, as we have Corolla and Falkenhayn battling. Falkenhayn's fallen back a couple of places here. He did get past James Knox in previous laps, but now down to P9 behind the priority 1 of Eunice Corolla and under attack from Tuamala. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on here. We've got quite a big pack, priority 1 train of about 6 cars going back to, I believe, Chris's Philo, and not far behind him, Glamsetter and Skinner. So this takes us from P8 to the end of the points, and that's quite a significant train here.
Yeah, it's almost like those top 2 squabbling a bit has allowed Watson, Karatko, Scapelli to sort of get back in touch. As you say, there's a bit of a gap back to Ockenhaug, and then there's this huge train from Carrala back. But yeah, the top 5 as it is now are all within that magic 1 second for slipstream. So keep an eye on it, how the top 5 will shuffle as the race goes on.
Yeah, that'll certainly be an interesting slipstream battle, but Lopez again not able to close that gap to Sandeep Singh, as Sandeep Singh does set a significantly faster best time of the race, but basically matched by Junior Lopez for sakes of a 200th difference, as Falkenhayn now fighting back against Eunice Corolla down the inside into turn 1 with that straight line at speed advantage, is able to just drive straight past the priority 1 car, and it seems like James Knox up ahead, I think, has gone off somewhere or made a slight bit of a mistake, because Falkenhayn is a lot closer than he was on previous laps, and now is somewhat in striking range of Falkenhayn after Falkenhayn made his mistake to end up in the pack just slightly behind. But for James Knox and Ockenhaug here, the cars running ahead of them, those are the leaders. And there's still very much an opportunity for them to get back into the race, as Omari Watson has fallen back from where he was just a few laps ago from the leaders, sort of in a sandwich here between Karatko, who, by the way, great performance up in P4 already, 5 laps into race 1. He's holding on to that position very nicely for Scuderia Freccianara.
Absolutely, and Falkenhayn once again showing that he can qualify well, but just hasn't quite got it hooked up in race 1 this season once. And I'm hoping that will change at some point for Falkenhayn's benefit. I'd be interested to see the replay from lap 1. Hopefully we have that ready to go, Fabian, because whilst these two at the front, the field's kind of spaced out a little bit. Let's have a look and see what happened on that chaotic first lap, especially with Caitlin Penny, Vicentijevic, little lock up there. Okay, this is hard to read. I was looking not quite at that instant. Someone on the inside, it looked like
the hut was spun around.
Yeah, Vakuinov was spun around. Oh, he almost lost that by himself. There was an RGS on the inside, which can't have been Koritz, actually. It would have been the other one, wouldn't it? It would have been
Tsolny, yeah.
And then further up, yeah, Slavev. So what happened here then? So through the chicane, bit of contact. Slavev is into the wall. That didn't look great. It's like, was it Skinner? I think was maybe just a little bit too far alongside, and then so the Hunter Birch has lost it, I think, through the apex.
There's 2 cars just losing it independently. The Tsolny and Josh Flynn here.
So Slavev and Skinner destroy each other into the wall. I feel like the Hunter Birch span on the curb. Maybe there was contact.
And Flynn has lost it in his own accident as all he spins trying to avoid it. Did Flynn lose it on his own?
What did Vicentijevic do? Because how did Vicentijevic get involved here?
Yeah, this is...
He's a long way...
Oh, he spun on the curb.
By himself on the curb.
That's just a whole lot of incidents going on in the same...
I think they're all independent of each other, aren't they? Or what did Flynn do?
All of these 3 incidents in the same
this
corner.
Is interesting. So the Hunter Birch is not quite... Yeah, the Hunter Birch gets on the curb and loses it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then...
Yeah, Flynn is obviously...
There's a car spinning, and then there's Vicentijevic spinning.
That's going to take some time to unpick properly. We haven't got time to do that. That's a lot of... almost like separate tiny micro incidents that have made it look like a pile-up that wasn't, you know? So, yeah, if you're playing the FS2 drinking game, that was not a lap 1 pile-up, doesn't count.
I think it was a pile-up still. Like, it's a collection of cars. It doesn't have to be, like, a single incident.
No.
It's just a...
No,
yeah.
Doesn't count.
Yes,
no.
It does. It does.
No, doesn't count.
If there's 2 crashes on a motorway and then more people crash into those crashes, that's a pile-up. And if people crash because of the crashes, then that's still a pile-up. So.
Yeah, okay. It's a reasonable analogy. I'll allow it. Lopez is a lot closer this lap, and Singh, by necessity, has to go defensive and weave down the straight. Can't be doing that too many times, Sandeep, but trying to break the slipstream. He has managed to keep Lopez a bit at bay. Lopez didn't get the best exit, I don't think. But Lopez is the more downforce Lopez has in this first sector is really helping him stay in touch with the middle part of the lap, where Singh seems to be quite strong on traction, have you noticed? So we'll watch out this hairpin on the left-hand hairpin. This is not really a traction corner at all. But the left-hand hairpin coming up here. If you watch, Singh will just go off the corner with really good traction. And you see, off he goes. And Lopez just can't quite get close enough to make that work. We're about the halfway point as well. So, yeah, Lopez, is, with that higher downforce, would expect to save a bit of tyres towards the end of the race. Can he use that? If he has that as the case, can he use that? But Singh, we know, is very good on tyres from his time in Superlights.
Yeah, and one thing I hadn't noticed is both of the VMSs, while we were watching those replays, had retired. And that's interesting because both of them retired roughly at the same time as Johannes Lepitt comes into the pit lane for Hut Performance Racing, or Hut Performance Engineering, I should say. But back to this battle. Lopez is closer than he has been before at any point on this straight, and Singh, his defense truly shows it, but Lopez just doesn't have the straight line space to get the straight line speed that's needed to get past Sandeep Singh. And that's a lot of S's in one sentence.
Yes, there's another one. Lopez very much able to stick here, and this is probably the closest it's been for a couple of laps, actually. Not quite close enough to make a move, but can he make a move into turn 5, the left-hand hairpin at the bottom of the hill? I don't think he's close enough. It's not really an overtaking opportunity unless you're on lap 1 and very close together. This can be a bit of a procession as you get through the race, but in these cars with their slipstreaming ability, it's not necessarily the case. Lopez needs to get a really good exit out of... That's too wide, my friend. In fact, that was a track limit violation as well, so he's got to be a bit careful. We have seen some drive-throughs this season. Klaffenburg, famously at the last round at Jeddah, losing his win as a result. He's got to be sort of 4/10 on the exit of the final corner, doesn't he, to be able to make a move, I think.
Yeah, 4 attempts at the bare minimum for Lopez, and the sort of combination of mistakes that Lopez is making really isn't helping him as we come through that penultimate corner, 6 attempts down, and that straight line speed in these last 2 corners for Sandeep Singh really just gives him a great slingshot onto the straight that Lopez can't really latch onto very well to sort of form an attack. So yeah, Sandeep Singh with an ideal setup here for keeping Lopez behind, provided he doesn't make any mistakes in any of the corners. Sandeep Singh is almost completely okay. And in terms of the cars behind, these two don't really have to worry about them anymore, because there's a 1.7 second cushion between Lopez and Omari Watson. But Lopez here catching up through the turn 1, turn 2 complex. So it's quite a difficult battle here. It's sort of strategic in the way it's playing out, because Lopez trying to use that higher downforce in the corners where he can, but it's sort of a medium downforce circuit.
It's almost a problem for him that he gets close through the first sector, because through here, the dirty air means that, like, you do get dirty air in FS2. It sort of means that Singh just kind of escapes again and then uses the straight line speed, and then there's dirty air again. It's almost like Lopez just can't quite get close enough to have a slingshot. What he really needs is a really, really good exit from this right-hander here and be less than 5/10 through the exit. But if you look at the gap, Singh just extends it to over 6/10 every time.
Yeah, Singh is just able to use that straight line speed advantage where it's possible, and that is in the last 2 sectors. They are the most straight sectors, realistically, of any track, really. And as Lopez gets onto the main straight, he's just not close enough. Like you say, he gets close in this first sector with these first 2 corners, but then it straightens out for the rest of the lap, and he can't get close enough. And yeah, Lopez gains 3 attempts in those first couple of corners, but then he loses it instantly through the lap. So Singh, realistically, has this playing out perfectly for him, and Lopez, I don't think, really realizes it. He just wants to close that gap wherever he can, and isn't able to close it where it really counts, which is going to be in that last sector.
I actually think Singh's got the faster race setup here, you know. I know Lopez was on pole and Singh second, but just fractions. This might actually benefit Lopez this time around. He's 6/10 back through here rather than 5 or 4. He might actually be able to get a bit of a slingshot now. And yeah, indeed, the gap's closing even in this very fast section. The dirty air not affecting him so much. Now, can he get like a really good slingshot? That's all he needs. He needs a really tight, good, strong exit out of this right-hander. I just don't think he's got... It's almost like he's got a back full of understeer and unable to really get the power down like Singh can, you know? Once again, look, Singh just extending that advantage. It's another 10th he's grown the gap to. And I don't see any way that Lopez wins this from here.
Yeah, and I think another factor in this is that Lopez, in the dirty air, is using a lot of the tire grip, but not a lot of the aerodynamic grip of the FS2 car. Not that there's much anyway, but yeah, he's scrubbing those tires as well, so that's eventually degrading his performance a lot more than it would be for Singh, because he's got perfectly clean air, perfectly good aerodynamics, and Lopez is sort of sat here scrubbing his tires off, scrubbing away any performance advantage he would have had in terms of grip now, and it is just losing it out constantly as he's further away than he has been for the last couple of laps in this first sector. He was up to 3 tenths at some point, was Junior Lopez, and now he's almost double that away from Sandeep Singh, and it's just going to keep growing as we get to this straighter part of the circuit here.
I feel like this will just creep up and up as the race goes on, although Singh was a little bit tardy through turn 8. Yes, turn 8. So he's just got a little bit of work to do here to maintain the gap, but this time around it's going to be over 7 tenths if the previous lap's anything to go by. So as I say, I just don't think that Lopez has the front end to get the car rotated through there. Look at the gap that Singh's able to open out. It's over 7 tenths again.
Yeah, I think for Singh here, his strategy was right at the start, get past Lopez, and then have the clean air. At some point, the aero balance is sort of equal because Lopez has dirty air, and that probably puts him around about Singh's level of downforce through the corners, and then just being ahead is the advantage for Sandeep Singh.
Let's see how it plays out. There's been a little bit of a ding-dong battle. It's mostly a train. There's a reason we're following the leaders. They're the closest two on track. But there's a little bit of a ding-dong battle going down in the lower points-paying positions. Philo very close. Here we go, side by side with the academy car of Glamsetter. And they are fighting away for potentially reverse grid pole. It could be anyone from 10th to 15th, depending on random number. So yeah, these are the positions here for reverse grid pole, and it's going to be very crucial here. If you look at Koritz, he's obviously right up there in the championship, unable to make his way through the pack after a relatively poor qualifying. He's just P11 now, so this is going to be quite crucial. And Koritz will brew not being able to get P10 if it is P10 for a reverse grid pole. Koritz really needs to goal hang at this point for reverse grid pole and hope for the best to keep his championship on track.
Koritz needs to go hang for reverse grid pole, and yeah, that is the strategy for Casper Koritz, and maybe he will get reverse grid pole, Toby. You never know. But I'm looking at the position. Maybe he should swap with Ben Skinner.
It's got to happen. One day it'll happen.
It has to happen at some point, but we're reaching levels where it's basically impossible that it hasn't happened.
Okay, Lopez and Singh, as they break for turn 1, we're a little bit closer this time round. It's not going to happen on this lap, but just keep an eye on that gap. I certainly will be. If Lopez gets back within half a second, certainly halfway through the lap, then potentially it's on. As Rochav and Kerala go side by side through the first couple of corners. I think Kerala's... is Kerala taking that position? I can't remember which way around they were, sorry. But certainly a ding-dong battle going on for the back end of the top 10.
And realistically, the back end of the top 15 as well. Glamsetter's right behind Chris's Philo as well, and is in striking distance along the straights in that slipstream. Of course, Philo does have some of the effect of the car ahead, but Glamsetter has 5 cars worth of slipstream ahead of him. So yeah, it's a great little advantage here for Glamsetter to be at the back of this train, because he will be able to use that as a slingshot to maybe get past 1 or 2 cars on the straight in the last couple of laps and potentially get him into the higher points paying positions. And realistically, this is the position I want to be in until the last couple of laps, which is now realistically, and then I want to start attacking the cars ahead, get into those higher points paying positions as everyone else is settling down and trying to just hold on to what they have.
Yeah, I think patience is certainly an important part of Formula Sprint 2. It's 2 races in a round, means that even if you have a bit of a so-so first race, you can still score decent points in race 2 with an inspired comeback drive, and that's what these guys will be looking to do if the reverse grid gods go their way. But yes, certainly Glamsetter, as you say, is in a decent position here as Svilo has slightly messed up the first couple of corners. This will give an opportunity potentially to Glamsetter. Look at the dirty air there, putting Glamsetter wide, and is a factor in these cars. That is what Junior Lopez is suffering from. And there's two schools of thought with dirty air. You either run more downforce to combat it, or less downforce, so that you kind of get away on the straights and you can't get overtaken. It's tricky.
Well, the 1 second barrier between Singh and Lopez has been reached for the first time in this race. I think that's going to say exactly what we were speaking about earlier, in that gap between Lopez and Singh is going to continue to grow throughout the race, and especially now as we get onto that straight section, Lopez doesn't really have the slipstream effect anymore to save him along the straight, so this gap is just going to grow and grow and grow, to the point where Lopez isn't going to be able to catch up. And with 2 laps to go now, Sandeep Singh is looking in a perfect position here to hold on and keep that lead as he continues to grow his gap along the straight to Junior Lopez. And the battle still goes on further back in the lower points paying positions, but other than that, there's not really any attacks going on. Here's Kurt Rochov trying to battle back for that position on Eunice Kerala, looks to the inside, late on the brakes into turn 1, has that inside line and does get the move done for P9. 2 laps to go, but Kurt Rochov has to defend now from a very inspired Eunice Kerala, trying to hold on to that P9 position.
Yeah, that was very nice from Rochov. Kind of left it very late, so we maximised the straight line speed he could get off the slipstream of Kerala and sent it down the inside. Great job.
Yep, but Kerala's going to have the exact same opportunity on the next lap, and I'm fairly certain you're sick of hearing the word dirty air, but it is a genuine issue with the circuit, the Barcelona Catalunya. It is a medium speed corner followed by a medium speed corner, and all of them are impacted by dirty air. 1.3 seconds now at the front between Lopez and Singh. And yeah, that just goes to show just how much better Sandeep Singh sort of strategy and setup was in this race as we move on to the last lap, as the Potentia car crosses the line for the penultimate time. And here's Kurt Rochov. Look at the gap he's got behind to Kerala now. Kerala's got absolutely no chance along the straights here unless he's got a rocket ship in the back of that Priority 1 car. It seems like Kurt Rochov is going to be able to hold on through the first couple of corners. And, oh, there's something going on in the very far background. A red car. One of them was sliding. And
a red car. It wasn't too bad. It was further back. Yeah, it was further back than that.
And a battle.
Was it Toby? No, it wasn't Toby. Couldn't tell you who that was, actually. It might actually have been Charlotte Menink. In the Venus, it might have been a pink car. I to be honest with you, couldn't quite see.
It looked red. It did look red.
Okay. I mean, I believe you. I'm not trying to gaslight you.
Yeah, but wait, it couldn't have been red.
Well, I don't think it was Tuamala, was it?
No.
Listen, I don't make the rules. We're on the final lap. Sandeep Singh has been exceptional since taking the lead off the start line. You have to say he had a cracking start. Great getaway. He has maximised that car every single lap to slowly gap Junior Lopez, and he crosses the line to take victory in race 1 of round 5 of Formula Sprint 2 2025. A great drive from Sandeep, cementing his place at the top of the championship. Junior Lopez P2. Amari Watson, a very quiet race for him, P3. Damir Karatko, a great job in P4. Scapelli in P5. Okanaug takes another quiet race for him, takes P6. James Knox P7, Falconine P8. Rochov P9 and Kerala rounding out the top 10. Be very interested to see the reverse grid poll. Koritz crosses the line now, and Skinner, Tomala, Svilo and Glamsetter are the point scoring finishers. That was possibly the least interesting race we've had this season, but that's okay. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of calm after some chaos, Alex.
Yeah, but I think we come to FS2 for the chaos, and I don't think Barcelona is the ideal ground for chaos, the ideal sort of area for chaos. But as we've got a parade lap going on here with the two Potentia cars, we'll go through the results then. there's a rear wing actually. But Sandeep Singh takes the win in race 1 with Junio Lopez lining up second behind him. Amari Watson finishes third where he qualified, and Damek Ratko, a great performance for P4. Scopelli fifth in the other Potentia car with Magnus Ockenhaug, James Knox, Michael Falkenhayn, Kurt Rochab, and Yunus Kerala rounding out the top 10. 11th is Casper Kurtz with Ben Skinner behind him in 12th. 13th, Tuomala. 14th, Christos Filo. And last of the point scorers, Christian Glanstetter for GPVWC Academy in 15th. Philip Sabinski 16th. Kanda 17th. Florian Hassa is 18th. 19th, the highest of the Venus Motorsports in P19. That's a good race, actually. 12 positions improved with Bobby Vakinov in P20. '21st is Jörn Dix and Joe Gillette 22nd, with Victor Bernat, Caitlin Penny, Josh Flynn, Mihailo Vizentjevich, Mauro Tizzoli, and Hans Lepit, the last of the finishers, with those retiring being Andrea Shania, Justin van der Smissen, Thijs Jongstra, and Smil Slavev. Well, Toby, do you want to summarize what we saw? There wasn't really much racing. It was sort of a slipstream fest.
It was one of those that was sort of shaping up to be a nice battle, and then in the end, Singh sort of just stretched his legs a bit and took the victory. So, well done, Sandy. We'll be back momentarily once the session has rolled over. Do not go anywhere, because we'll still be here and we'll be lonely. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're still holding onto your hat, or whatever idiom you like. stitch in time is worth two in the bush. Don't count your lucky chickens. Welcome back, Alex, to another exciting race due shortly.
I enjoyed my power nap that I just had in those 2 minutes that we took as a break.
Was that from lap 10 to lap 17?
Yes. In fact, it could have been for the entire race, for all I care.
I mean, it was nice to see like decent driving. I mean, no one was smashing each other off or anything
Apart from lap 1.
like that. Yeah, apart from lap 1, but as we said, that was not a pilot, so it didn't count.
Okay. You'll never believe it.
I mean, you know, the proof is in the Christmas pudding. Someone said they're not wearing a hat. Why not? It helps protect your head from sunburn.
You protect your little head, Toby.
I always do.
It's reverse grid P15. So
No. Not P11.
not P11, no. It's really unfortunate.
Remember to update your spreadsheet.
I did it instantly before I even told you. It's not been 11 in the what's 12 plus 5, 17 races I've done, and then till Canada 2023 that was. It's been 2 seasons since we've had a P11 actually. 2 seasons, 2 whole seasons. Two seasons next race actually. A whole 2 seasons. 24 events. We've had a P11 reverse grid pole. How crazy is that?
Very. That's the craziest thing ever.
That's the most interesting thing we could talk about that actually involves the racing with this circuit in particular.
I wonder if there's anyone in the YouTube chat who doesn't own a hat. Because I know some people are hat people. Some people are not hat people. Personally, I'll give or take a hat. You know, I've got hats.
You have to own one, surely.
I mean, you don't have to. There's not legally binding.
You have to have at least one hat, surely, right? Whether it's a woolly hat or a...
I mean,
Everyone
I
must
think
have
we've all...
at least one in the house.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I used to like a backwards, you know those like trackman type hats? What are they called? The flat top ones?
The flat
What are
top?
they
Like,
called? Snapback. I used to like wearing a snapback backwards. Like 10 years ago.
you must have been very cool in the 2000s.
10 years ago was 2015.
Okay, then it wasn't cool back then. That's for sure. Like the backwards hat in 2015 was not cool.
I think you'll find it was perfectly acceptable.
It was acceptable, but it doesn't mean it was cool.
I suppose. I mean, I was already quite old by that point, so probably out of touch. I quite like it. I've got like a Australian outback leather hat thing, which I really like. I think that's pretty cool.
Like Crocodile Dundee hat.
Yeah, kind of. It hasn't got all the like corks and that on it.
Hmm.
So
I think I only own like normal baseball caps.
I've got a couple of like signed. I've got what have I got? I've got a signed Alex Verts one. What else have I got? Something else probably. Somewhat. I used to make them for like sponsors as well. So I made hats and gave them away to sponsors so they could wear hats at. Because like giving someone a T-shirt is a bit like it's a bit extra, isn't it, to ask them to change into your sponsored T-shirt or whatever. But give them a hat at the race. Yeah, it's easy to put on and off in it, and it can live on a shelf as well. Like you wouldn't put a T-shirt on a shelf, would you? You might put a hat on a shelf.
I mean, I think I've got like a Lockheed Martin and a Boeing cap, but that's about it.
Oh, do you like boats?
Boats?
Why have you got two plane making hats? Two hats
Well,
made by
I
planes?
used
What am I
to.
trying to
I
say
say
here?
I used to, but I very, very, very much like planes. They're very cool.
What's your favourite plane? Why the hell haven't we talked about this in a warm-up?
What's your favorite plane? No, this is not allowed.
Why?
I'm gonna be like British bias and say like the Eurofighter Typhoon, which is the coolest generation, fourth generation fighter, by the way.
My dad used to fly planes. He's got a pilot's license. He had a Cessna 182, which was like a four-seater thing. They're so expensive. I didn't realize. So what he did was he had like a timeshare in them. So like you buy into a plane, if you like, and then you can fly it for, let's say, 3 weeks of the year, right? So you buy whatever 3 divided by 52 is, one share in the plane. It's still so expensive. You got to pay for all the fuel and fly back and forth and make sure you're doing a minimum number of hours, and the license itself costs so much as well. It's ridiculous. It's like the most expensive hobby you can think of. It's not, but it's up there.
I think Warhammer trumps aviation, honestly.
In terms of expense?
Yes, easily.
Really? Don't you paint them yourself?
Yeah, but
how much is what? I don't know anything about Warhammer other than their.
I don't know anything, but I just know it's like ridiculously expensive if you aren't making the things yourself.
Wowzers. That's crazy to me. I don't even know what do you do with them? Can you like play with them and stuff? Is it like Total War?
I think
but like on a board.
It's like kind of a board game. I don't know. I think,
Sounds like
honestly,
a
I think they're just
scam,
collectibles.
to be honest.
Honestly.
Yeah, probably. It's for me. I do spend one of my, I guess, more expensive hobbies. I collect like 1/18 scale F1 cars.
I do that for planes.
Nice. So I've got.
Go on, you first.
I was gonna say I've got a 25 model F1 car. I've got some. So I've got like a Gilles Villeneuve McLaren 1977 one above me right now. I got like, I guess 2 cabinets worth. But yeah, I've got some pretty cool ones. I've got Senna's 94 Williams, his 93 McLaren. I want to say 86 Lotus. Tolman from 84. So those are my Senna cars. Got Damon Hill's 96 Williams. Nobody though holds a candle to Craig Patterson. If he's watching, stick your collection in the FS2 chat because he's got a ridiculous collection of cars. It's so cool.
I have a single Formula One car, and it's a 2005 1/18 BAR.
Nice, I respect.
A Jensen Button BAR.
Nice, I respect that a lot. I've got a 2000 Williams Jensen Button car. 1/18 is the correct scale for them though. Like the 1/43 ones are just too small and like not detailed enough. But if you go bigger than 1/18, you're spending 500 quid, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's better to spend like, I guess you can get them on eBay for like 60, 70 quid now. Not the ridiculous ones, obviously. They're like special edition ones and stuff. But I think it's pretty cool to collect them. It's something Craig said, I'm here, Toby. Get your model car collection, stick it on the FS2 chat, because I think it's really cool. He's got some sick models and some Williams paraphernalia. Right, grid is forming all around us. Will we play and will we have fun though? On the grid, P1, and this will be fun, is Christian Glamsetter and Christus Philo P2, Tomato P3, Ben Skinner P4. Fifth on the grid is Kasper Koritz, who has managed to get into that reverse grid sort of segment. He will be able to score some points. Yunus Karala, Kurt Rotiav and Mikhail Falkenhayn, 6th, 7th and 8th. James Knox is in 9th. That's a tongue twister. Magnus Ockenhaugen P10. Domenico Scapelli in P11. Damir Karatko in 12th position. 13th goes to Amari Watson. Junior Lopez 14th. Sandeep Singh, our race 1 winner, in 15th. Now we have the non-reverse grid ease. Filip Chavinsky in 16th. 17th is Shimon Kanda. 18th, Florian Haase. Charlotte Menink in 19th, and Babi Vakunov in 20th. 21st, Jörn Dix. 22nd, Joe Gillette. 23rd, Victor Bernat. 24th, Caitlin Penny. 25th, Josh Flynn. Mihailo Vicentievich, 26th. Mauro Tezzoli in 27th place. Johannes Leppe in 28th. 29th goes to Andrea Kanaya, Justin Van der Schmidt in P30, and rounding up the grid is Thijs Jongstra and Slavev, all of those guys DNF in race 1. So the big cue for question for you, sir. Who is going to win race 2? I know who I think is going to win. Who's your money on?
Well, I have to say, none of the top 15, other than the top 5, looked particularly racy in race 1. But I think, honestly, I'm looking at Svilo and Tuomala here, and I'm thinking they are looking to be the strongest of the set of drivers. Slavev is absolutely miles behind everyone else. I just realized it took forever. But yeah, I think Svilo or Tuomala here looking the strongest. I'd even put Glamsetter and Skinner in, but I'm going to put my money on Svilo here for the race win.
I'll go Kasper Koritz from P5. I think he's had championship contending pace all season. I think he'll do well. Right, the lights are on. We gridded up quickly. Let's see who's going to win race 2 for round 5. Glamsetter gets a slow getaway, and actually Tuomala gets a great jump, trying to squeeze between himself between Glamsetter and Svilo, and actually has the inside line as they head towards turn 1. For the second time today, it's going to be 4 wide as they break down into the right-hander, 3 wide into turn 1, and they all somehow get through. Svilo side by side with Tuomala. Glamsetter somehow holds onto the lead, though, as they head through turn 3, and Tuomala has been balked and has somehow lost a few positions. There's a yellow flag in the background, and Murray Watson's run, and around there's a huge pile-up, and that is dramatic. Everyone's involved. Sandeep Singh's involved.
Not this again.
That is a huge pile-up. And that, honestly, it was one of the, I think it was Rochav was round facing the wrong direction, and I'm not sure what caused that, but we have lost a lot of cars, Alex.
Yeah, 5 cars, 6 cars, 7, it's going to just keep increasing. 7 cars have DNF'd just in that one incident alone, and that's going to be a long replay. But we've got quite some time. Ben Skinner, by the way, up into P1 was one of the calls, but this is going to be very close right to the end. And yeah, I really wasn't paying attention when that happened, I'll be completely honest. And well, surprise, surprise. But yeah, we've got more retirements as well. Kanda is in the pit lane, repairing damage.
Yeah, Singh championship leader in the pit lane. So a lot of cars damaged. This the kind of the top 10 have got away with it, and everyone behind them then is damaged, delayed, or out. So yes, 3 wide as they head down into turn 1. Kasper Koritz doesn't have the straight line speed, you know, as James Knox and Ockenhaug go side by side, but Koritz coming back at them, and Tuomala has sort of sorry, that's Junior Lopez actually has survived. So Lopez going to score some decent points this race, while some of his rivals are not. They're squabbling away over the back of the top 10. These guys need to be patient. They've got to realise that potentially their pace could get them through this pack. It's not like Ben Skinner, Glamsetter was setting the world alight in race 1. If they pick their way through slowly, they could score some good championship points.
Vicentievich, P15, by the way, in the points-paying positions for the first time this season, and for the first time in quite some time, I think, for Vicentievich. That's good news. Up to P15. Sandeep Singh.
Scapelli had to. Some of these cars had to double stack. So Singh obviously is 14th, having pitted for a new front wing, but therefore Scapelli had to double stack presumably. Or was it Scapelli who was missing the wing? And as Singh
must have been Scapelli, because I don't think Singh has pit because the gap. Yeah, no, there's no way he pit with that gap.
No, you're right. He can't have done. He's 16 seconds off the lead in setting purple sectors. So he just must have been heavily delayed. Singh's not out of it for scoring decent points here, actually. considering his pace in race 1. He's 16 seconds off the lead. That's gone. But he certainly could score. He certainly could end up in the top 10 here. Junior Lopez needs to get through this pack and try to score as best he can. Hopefully, we've got some replays. I'd love to see it on board with Singh to see what happened to him from his POV, because he obviously started P15, was right in amongst it, and what ended up being delayed. Let's see what happened. So there was certainly Rochav, I think it was, in the Excellion was turned around. Oh, side by side with, I couldn't tell you who was.
Singh not got damage?
Well, he's got damage, but it won't be. It's not race ending. So he's managed to. He's not held the brakes, but he has stayed on the grass. So it's Tuamala here, side by side. I think contact with Rochav, in my opinion. Yeah, he's got a squiggle, turned Rochav around, and then all hell breaks loose. So I was looking at the potential here. In the middle of that pack is Scapelli, who obviously had so much damage he's had to pit for that, to repair that. Tuamala obviously as well, missing a front wing. But that was the cause. Now, could any... Oh, there's also... Can we go back there? Because that was...
Just a little bit.
That was...
What are we watching? This is happening again. Multiple events combining to take out half the grid.
This is a separate thing.
There's 4 cars gone.
That is ridiculous, whatever happened there. And then Dix is dodged it.
Very lucky. Wow.
Not the best driving from everyone involved, really. I'd like to see the just finally before we leave this, Tuamala and on board with Tuamala really actually would be good. So he's already had a huge full lock side, and then he just drifts into Rochav and then collects him again for good measure as a wheel comes bounding over. Not good.
Australia, mate.
Have you not seen that Vine? Probably not.
No.
But yeah, and then we have some more nonsense. Okay, cool. Well, back to the live action then. Oh, wowzers. Okay, so...
Train is what we call this.
Can Singh... So, obviously, Singh to Zoli's Youngstra, they're 7 seconds back. But all the way down to Flynn is pretty much one train. Skinner leads from Glancetter and Svilo. Koritz again, Koritz not quite having the pace this round, is he?
No, Koritz, I don't think is confident in this circuit, and normally he'd be a bit higher, P4, even P3 at this point in the race. Svilo here going for a move down the inside on Glamsetter. That looks relatively clean from both of them. Glamsetter losing it a little bit on the inside there, trying to hold on to the back of that ST racing car, and again Glamsetter on board. We just see that outwash effect with the dirty air in that fast corner, and oh, that was very well held by Glamsetter, as I think that's one of the VMS cars, Justin van der Smissen, being lapped by Ben Skinner, and that's giving him a nice 1-car pad to separate himself from this train that is slowly forming and slowly compacting behind him. And yeah, look at the gaps. 20 seconds between the top 15, but then there's a 30-second gap to P16. So basically anyone involved in that first lap incident, no hope of points unless we have some more DNFs further up the field. And ooh, we almost had a bit of contact there as Ockenhaug was late on the brakes behind Kuritz and Lopez, the 2 championship leaders at the start of this season, battling it out now through the penultimate corner. And Lopez, I think here, will have the straight line speed advantage along the main straight to be able to pass Kasper Kuritz on the inside into turn 1. And here we go. We're going to get an onboard view from a front row seat here with Magnus Ockenhaug, watching Lopez move out to the outside of Kasper Kuritz. Kuritz, oh. Ockenhaug dipping a wheel onto the grass. Kuritz on the inside. Later on the brakes is Kuritz. And there's a bit of contact. Neither of them go around. But Kuritz, for now, has been able to maintain that position. Here comes Magnus Ockenhaug trying to get in on this action. Moves to the clean air. Moves to the outside. Kuritz once again under pressure from Lopez around the outside. Both of them late on the brakes once more. And Ockenhaug's trying to back away from this a little bit to be able to sort of take note of what's going on and trying to find that gap and opportunity in this battle. That's also sort of pushing him back a little bit into Bobby Makinov here, who's been up his diffuser a couple times in the last couple of corners.
Yeah, but Lopez did get by Koret, so eventually making that move. He made hard work of it through the first 4 or 5 corners, but eventually gets through around the outside of turn 4. Good move there. But as you say, Ockenhaug trying to sort of bide his time. He's had a very strong season this season so far by doing so, staying out of trouble and picking his battles. Svilo is gaining on Skinner up front, this lap especially. He is he's slightly slower through the middle sector. Let's see what the gap's like at the end of the lap. Yeah, Svilo only gained a 10th in the end, actually. It was looking more promising through the first sector. He just needs to get within that slipstream, and then it's game on for him. Some cars are exiting the pit lane. Need to be careful when they get lapped, as Jörn Dix and he's battling with Flynn, who's battling with Vakuinov, side by side between Flynn and Vakuinov as they go through turn 3. Can Vakuinov hold on the inside? He can, and behind them there's who is that Tazzoli, but a lap down? I think it is. I was gonna say Tazzoli right behind them. It is, but it's but he's a lap down. No, it can't be a lap down.
Are you okay, Toby?
Am I?
They are a lap down. Well, some
sorry,
people are a lap down.
Sorry, it's Victor Bernat. Right, that makes sense. Sorry, I wasn't. Oh, it's Flynn. Nearly fully round. I'm so sorry. I was looking at the timing tower, and Tazzoli is close to that battle, but then it's somehow behind Singh. Of course, it's Bernat a lap down. That's my bad.
Yeah, this is a confusing situation because we have teammates of cars who are in this train a little bit, combined with cars that are in the battle. So, yeah, this is going to be a confusing next couple of laps as we navigate the lap traffic.
Tazzoli's actually ahead of Flynn now. So, Flynn dropping like a stone. Something's happened to Josh Flynn, actually, and he's lost even more positions. P15 now for Josh, so that moves everyone up a position. Tazzoli, Vicentijevic up to P14 now for Mihailo. 12th for Singh. Oh, Tazzoli's not in the academy car, of course. Oh, Tobe. He was in the academy car last round. He's now in the RGS. That makes sense. I'm sorry, my head's now screwed firmly back on.
Is it really?
Yeah, mostly.
That's good.
Couple more righty-tighties.
Okay, we'll keep screwing then as we get on further into the race. Ockenhaug hasn't been able to capitalize on the battle between Lopez and Kuritz now, and has just sort of sat behind Kasper Kuritz in that reading game car, which is a nice car to be sat behind. It does look decently okay from the rear. It looks, I mean, like every other car. It's sort of black, and then there's a different color on the body. What am I saying? It doesn't matter. There's a battle going on there. I think that's Josh Flynn with Vicentijevic, actually, Vicentijevic has got past Josh Flynn. Be that as a result of a mistake, but he's now got 2 points instead of just 1.
Oh, true. Yes. True. Can I just say it's very hot in the UK, and I think because we're so
both our brains are fried,
unused to it. My attic room, which is where I commentate from, is roasting today. It's 27 degrees in here right now.
Oh, tell me about it. But
it's like a
bedroom
sauna.
is an attic room, and it's not fun at night.
Vicentijevic is on for his first points since 2020.
Wow.
In any GPVWC series, he's scored 5 points total. So this would be wonderful. He's never scored in FS2. He's been here since 22, 23, 24. So this is his 4th season in Formula Sprint 2, and this would be his first point. So I'm praying that he can hold on to that position for Vicentijevic. It would be great to see him get a couple of points. He been around a long time and deserves he's always sticks there. He does this for fun. He's always racing, and sometimes he is further back, but today he's in the points, and deservedly so. He managed to pick his way through the nonsense on lap 1, and is on for some points. So good on Mahilo. He's in a nice clear gap, 9 seconds back of Tozzoli, but 7 seconds ahead of Flynn now, who's had his issues. Sfilo unable to gain on Skinner. This looks like it's going to be Skinner's race, you know. And Course just has not had the pace I thought he would.
Yeah, your prediction has lost positions in the last 10 laps, down 2 positions from starting in P5. And
He has a name.
well, I'm just pointing out that it was your prediction. Frankly,
Womp.
Casper Kuretz was your prediction, and
Yes, correct. Yes. Don't rub it in.
I'm gonna keep rubbing it in, as long as you keep bringing it up. But I also didn't say Ben Skinner, so the sort of unexpected winner out of all of this it is coming through, and yeah, it's his race to lose at this point.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Glamsetter, obviously on that pole position, but didn't have that great start, and it shows how critical actually it is to be down into turn 1 first, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's one of those tracks. It's so tricky to overtake on, and Lopez showing that. I mean, you'd argue out of the top 6 here, he's definitely had the best pace all round. Qualified on pole for race 1, P2 in race 1. Not able to get through this pack very quickly, and we've seen it before from Lopez where he has been able to get through. So it's just it's one of those tracks. Just shows how difficult it can be.
Yeah, I have to say, it was shown by Singh in race 1 that getting ahead at the start is crucial, and you can keep the car behind just by managing them and keeping them in the position you want, as Ockenhaug now finally is able to attack Casper Kuretz and gets past for P7. But he's been staring at the back of that reading game car for about 6 laps now, as we kind of head to Junior Lopez riding the diffuser of James Knox in the Excellion car ahead. And we'll move to the inside. All this contact, and there's more now as James Knox gets pushed wide. That won't push him too far back towards Magnus Ockenhaug, but that will not be upon.
I need to say that again. I feel like Knox moved under braking and sort of pinched the because Lopez was driving straight. I don't think Lopez needs to give that back. Knox has been involved in a few reports this season, but for me, he moved under braking there to the right. I'd like to see that very quickly on board if we can, Fabian, just to see exactly what happened. But for me, we were obviously on board at the time. I'd like to see on track cams to see whether Knox moves right here, because I feel like he does. This is a good angle. Just there, he just moves right just as they start braking. Wasn't that obvious on track cams actually? But on board from Lopez, it definitely looked like he moved right. What do you think?
Yeah,
Alex?
I totally agree that it did look like Knox did move, but now it's up to Knox to try and get that position back on the racetrack around the outside in turn 1. We haven't really seen that happen or work for many drivers, but James Knox seems to have made it work on Junior Lopez here, and that's a nice bit of driving to make up for the bit of monstrous driving, I'll call it, that we saw last time around at this specific corner. And now James Knox just probably now has to grow a gap between him and the cars behind, so potentially offset a potential penalty that he could be getting if he did move under braking. Of course, we're commentators. We don't have any say in the proceedings of the disciplinary committee, but yeah, if he does get a penalty, that'll push him back quite significantly, I think up down to P9. So yeah, that'll be a big hit if he does get that 5-second penalty, taking away about half of his points really.
I think it's interesting. The YouTube chat is saying it's a late lunge from Lopez. What is this waffle? Interesting. That's an interesting take on it. That's not how I saw it at all. But certainly, you're watching the same stream I am. Shows how tight it potentially was. It's difficult to say, isn't it? We'd had to look back at the replay and see what happened, but yeah, interesting. Certainly for me. Knox closed him off, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all irrelevant. Knox is back through and into P5. He is. Skinner, 2 seconds now clear of Sfilo. It's Skinner's race to lose at this point. There's no way Sfilo, Glamseta, Carala, anyone has the pace to catch him now. It's all about whether Skinner can avoid mistakes, and that would be a cracking result for Skinner. He has already had a race 2 victory at Japan a couple of rounds ago. So can Skinner do it again? I think the answer is probably yes.
Yeah, Ben Skinner, sort of a dark horse this season, I want to say, in the Team RNG car, because RNG weren't particularly a serious team last time around last year in 2024. They had a couple of good performances, but nothing really notable. So yeah, coming around this time in 2025 with 2 wins with the first 10 races is a good look for RNG, provided they hold on to it today with Ben Skinner, and also both cars would be in the points. Thijs Jongstra down in P11 will soon be under attack from Sandeep Singh in the final couple of laps as we're on board with Junio Lopez. But we know the gap roughly to make a move along this main straight is about 0.4 of a second, and that is not where Lopez is this time around, and will now have to try an attack here on James Knox, but I think he's just too far back to make any attempt at an overtake into turn 1 here, and Knox also will have that slipstream of Eunice Corrala ahead, helping him stay quite distant from Junio Lopez here. And I think now James Knox is focusing on getting ahead of this priority 1 car, getting into the higher end of the top 15, into the top 4. Not quite a podium, but a very strong position nonetheless, and that's where Corrala's currently sit, and it's his to lose now.
It is. It absolutely is. Falkenhayn sets the fastest lap of the race. He is down in 23rd position. Stuck at it, though, after probably some very lengthy repairs, to be fair. Yeah, it's sort of all evened out a little bit after that lap 1 nonsense. I'm pretty grumpy that we saw after praising the field from race 1 and their performance in race 1. That race 2, we didn't even really comment on the 4-car mini pile-up that we saw on the exit of turn 1, but that was a separate incident, wasn't it, that collected a good few cars there as well. Travinsky involved, I think, as well, wasn't he? On the exit of turn 1, there was a separate little mini pile-up as well as the main one we watched, and it's just not what you want to see.
Is round 5 curse? Genuine question. Hold on. What round was Imola last season in Super Lights? Is round 5 curse?
Was it round 5 as well?
Yeah. Yes, it was round 5. San Marino for Super Lights was round 5.
Ooh.
And we had something exactly the same. Here comes James Knox, by the way, down the inside of Eunice Corrala. There's more contact going on. Sorry, I'm just catching up while looking at what round it was. Junio Lopez now. Ooh, almost went into the back of James Knox. Well avoided, though. Trying to go for that inside. Now on the outside of James Knox into turn 4. And nicely on the brakes. And nice bit of momentum here as those red glowing brakes of James Knox try to go around the outside of Junio Lopez. And there was a bit of contact there that we didn't quite see. Knox swerving potentially, I think, in a bit of protest to what Lopez did there, but we'll have to see what happened.
Yeah, that one I need to see again, because Knox for me left acres of space on the inside, and I feel like if there was contact, it's got to be on Lopez here, understeering into him. Let's find out as they went side by side into the hairpin. Let's see on board with Lopez if we can. I don't know. Again, I don't know, man. It's hard to say, isn't it, from there, as to if anything really happened. But you mentioned the glowing brakes of James Knox. He's got much lower brake ducts than Lopez. If you look at that glow on the brake disc, it's much hotter for Knox. Here comes Lopez then on Corrala. So we're on the last couple of laps now. Look at the gap he's pulled on Corrala. So freed up now from Knox. Lopez has put the hammer down and has caught straight up to the back of Eunice in that priority 1 car. Can Lopez make the same sort of move down into turn 4 on the penultimate lap? A little bit too far back, but clearly got the pace advantage.
Yeah, and Lopez, I think, has 2 laps to make a very tidy move, and doesn't have to really rush the overtake here on Eunice Corrala, because at this point the podium is out of the question for Junior Lopez, just entirely, unless for whatever reason Svilo, Skinner, or Glamsetter are magically removed from this racetrack, whether it be from their own mistakes or a disconnect or whatever. No commentators cuss, touch wood, hopefully. But yeah, Lopez here just has to stay calm realistically behind Eunice Corrala, but that 4/10 threshold along the straight is really important. Lopez, I think, for the first couple of times that I'm going to say this, is in that threshold now with Eunice Corrala, and along this straight, this should be a nice overtake opportunity into turn 1 then, as we head onto the straight, and that gap closes very quickly when the car ahead doesn't have significantly lower downforce. Kasper Kuritz dipping a wheel into the dirt in the background. Lopez moves to the outside then into turn 1, later on the brakes than Eunice Corrala, and it's very tight on the inside for Corrala. There was almost contact. Corrala tries to switch back now into turn 3, tries to get a better exit, tries to get a better run through turn 3, but it's just unable to. Lopez has the superior pace through turn 1 and 2, but as we head into turn 4, that dirty air now is going to start affecting Eunice Corrala. I think James Knox here will look to get in on some of this action as well. 2 attempts between himself and Eunice Corrala, as Corrala falls a little bit short of Lopez's pace through the second part of the lap. And on board once more with James Knox, but yeah, we've got a few more corners to go, really, for Ben Skinner. And he's about to take his second win of the season, Toby.
Yeah, and it's been a nice controlled race, hasn't it, from start to finish from Skinner. Clearly had a slight pace advantage. The clean air as well helping him on those first couple of laps. And he's coming around the last couple of corners and will take that second victory of the season. It's been a great drive from him, hasn't it?
Yeah, truly a great drive from Ben Skinner for Team RNG. The second drive of this season to take 2 wins as he crosses the line in first, followed by Christus Filo and Christian Glamsetter for GPVWC Academy. And I think that's the first podium the Academy team have got. And in race 2, that's a good performance. Lopez finishes P4, Eunice Corrala P5, James Knox, and across the line is P6. Ockenhaug and Kuritz, they had a battle earlier on, but nothing else came of that. And yeah, that was a more interesting race than what we had in race 1. I think there was a bit more racing, but obviously we had at this point, I do believe round 5 is cursed, because Super Lights, we had a half the field pile up. Formula Sprint 2, race 2, we've had a half the field pile up.
This one was not ideal at all for me. I just didn't enjoy. I just don't enjoy these huge pile-ups that we sometimes get in Formula Sprint 2. But nonetheless, after that, the racing was pretty good. Some interesting moments between Knox and Lopez. I'd love to see how the disciplinary committee sees those if they get reported. For me, the first one was at least a racing incident, but probably Knox moving across. The second one's a bit harder to tell. And yeah, not ideal. But Ben Skinner wins the race. Filo in P2, Glamsetter P3 from the top of the grid. Junior Lopez in P4, maximising his championship challenge. Corrala P5, James Knox ending up in P6 with Ockenhaug quietly P7, Kasper Kuritz P8, Jundix P9, and Vakunov rounding up the top 10. In 11th place, we have Thijs Jongstra. Sandeep Singh recovering to P12 after being backwards on lap 1. Tazzoli P13. Vicentievich does pick up 2 championship points. Well done, Mahalo. And Josh Flynn picking up the final one. Tormala, Chavinsky, Haase, Van der Schmissen, Bernat missing out. And then the final finishers were Scapelli, Falkenhayn, and Caitlin Penny did well to recover after that lap 1 incident. And then the DNFs, unfortunately, there's a lot. Kanda, Menik, Kinaya, Lepit, Slavev, Gillette, Karatko. And then finally, Rotyav and Watson, who will be disappointed to DNF on the first lap as well. Interview time.
Oh, we have to do that again. Oh,
Here comes the interview. So,
my least
Junior
favorite part.
Lopez. Junior Lopez. Let's speak to Junior. Well done, Junior. You didn't quite have the ability to get by Singh in race 1, but race 2, after the chaos on lap 1, maximized what you could do. How do you feel?
I wanted to win in race 1. That start just killed me. And Barcelona is such a tough track to overtake. I felt like the pace was there. I mean, I stick with Sandeep pretty well, even though the derriere is pretty high here. But yeah, second place, very, very nice, good points. And in race 2, that was hella lucky, eh? Because either you either would choose the inside or the outside. I was the lucky one who was on the outside, out of the track, and avoided everything. So thank God. So that should be some good points for the championship. But it felt good. I wanted the podium race 2, but it was tough. Good race anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is sort of starting to get towards the part of the season where we have to think about the long-term championship. I know it's still quite early, but do you feel like these are the sort of rounds where you have to pick up points and eventually you might be able to get all the way?
Well, championship isn't only about driving skill, you know. Luck is a part as well, so 100%. The points we picked up today, they will matter at the end. I'm sure of it.
Fair enough. Next round is in a couple of weeks. It's the US Grand Prix. Back to Indianapolis for the first time in a while. How do you feel about that? I mean, it's going to be interesting going back there.
Yeah, interesting track. Haven't been there in a while for sure. Good. I mean, it's a good track to get away from the usual F1 tracks.
Yeah, I think it's nice to get away from them occasionally. So yeah, well done, Junior. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's speak to Sandeep Singh. Here he is. Are you here?
Yeah.
How you doing? Well done in race 1. Cracking win. Clearly you had a slightly lower downforce setup than Lopez. It was like 3 or 4 clicks or something like that. I think that helped you, but mostly you were able to get off the corners really well and prioritize that sort of traction as well. So just he was not able to sort of get on your coattails.
Yeah. I knew I needed to get ahead of turn 1 and 2 and just defend like first couple of laps if he had a run, because I felt I would have been better on tires in the end. And then like just sorry, I'm just looking at the football scores.
Stop doing that.
I need to check it out. But yeah, I just had
Focus.
to defend the initial like attack basically, and then it steadied up, and then it looks like his tires just dropped off at the end, so he couldn't do another attack basically. So that saved my ass. So.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think that's pretty much what happened. I think the dirty air was important here as well, wasn't it? It was, well, not important, but a factor. Certainly, like, obviously you were backwards in race 2, but you would have been struggling to get through those places anyway, I think, considering how difficult it was to overtake.
Not if I had damage. I did practice. I felt fine in dirty air. But race 2, I picked up a lot of damage on the first lap, so I was losing. I was actually slower. So I went low on my wings for race 2. I had a specific setup for that. So I was actually running. I was ended up being, because of the damage, I ended up being slow on the straights in race 2 than I was on my main setup. So I just couldn't do anything basically, make any overtakes. So that was annoying. I think I had like I think my laps were like 4, 5 tenths a lap slower than what I could have been doing, which sucks. But yeah.
No, that's fair. I think you'll be close to or still leading the championship. You should be still leading the championship. I know it's too early to really talk about that in full, but yeah. Next round is Indy. Are you excited?
It'd be fun to watch, yeah.
Oh, you're not racing?
I'm going to be about 6-7 hours in another place.
Oh, you go. Where are you going?
Asia. I'm going to Asia.
Where?
Singapore and Malaysia.
Oh, nice. Have a lovely time.
So yeah,
How long are you there for?
Back till bank holiday basically.
Cool. Well,
the second bank holiday in May. I'm back then.
Fair. Well, I hope you have a really lovely time. It's a sick part of the world.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard lots of good things about it, especially food. Quite
Yes.
foodie, so
Are you? Yeah. Cool.
good. Yeah.
No, cool. Well, have a nice time. Obviously, then that will blow the championship wide open again. So this will happen. It ebbs and flows in FS2. There's plenty of time to make up and lots of races to do it in. So congratulations today, though, Sandeep. Clearly, class the field and unfortunate in race 2.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Last one. Who should we do, Alex?
That was to Christian Glamsetter.
Okay, Christian Glamsetter. Hello, Christian.
Hello.
Can you first tell me exactly how you say your last name, please?
Well, the easiest way is just to say Glomsetter, but in Norwegian it's Glomsetter.
Glom. Okay, thank you. Perfect. I will remember this. How do you feel? I mean, obviously you had that reverse grid pole for race 2, but unable to sort of really kind of capitalize on it, but still nice to be battling at the front.
I'm really happy. I did not expect to be getting a podium anytime soon. Starting on pole, I was super nervous. Never been on pole in R Factor, so I barely knew what to do. And yeah, I've just tried my best to keep it clean, keep it consistent throughout the race. And managed a podium, which I'm really happy about.
Yeah, and obviously with the academy team, are you hoping to get a full-time drive somewhere?
Absolutely. Really hoping to get a full-time drive.
Nice.
We'll see. Hopefully this result helps in that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you were 16th and 17th at Saudi, showing some improvement for sure here. It's quite a nice track to get a reverse grid pole, to be fair. It's quite difficult to overtake, but for sure you've already started to show improvements. Hopefully it improves for you as we go through the season.
Yeah, hopefully, especially if I manage to get more drives or a permanent seat. We'll see, but yeah, we worked really hard as well, trying to get the setup to work. Really difficult learning a new car, so managed in the end to get a decent set with decent pace at least.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well done today. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, we've done the 3, Alex, which means we can go. But first,
Finally.
Thank you. Thank you also to Fabian. Little summary, Alex.
Race 1 was boring. I fell asleep during it, so I don't know what happened. The Sandeep Singh one, actually, I do know that happened. And then race 2, we had a pile up lap 1. And then we had Ben Skidor win with Svilo behind him and Christian Glomsetter on the podium. And that was a more interesting race. There was actually racing, thanks to the pile up, creating a train of cars for the first couple of laps. Anyway, that was the 2 races. We are back in 2 weeks' time for the Indianapolis Grand Prix using the classic Grand Prix layout. And we also have on Thursday Formula Sprint 1. Next Tuesday we have Super Lights, and on the Thursday after that we have Super League. So there's more GPVWC action to come.
Absolutely, yes. Tune in on Thursday for sure. Formula Sprint 1 should be a lot of fun. And yeah, Academy Monday is not here. It's not at Barcelona. It's actually at Circuito de Valencia or whatever it's called. So it's a Spanish track, but the other Catalan one. Right.
To Ricardo Toma, Valencia.
Yes, that one. Yeah, Valencia.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Right, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Fabian. You can't hear him. I've been Toby Davis. Thank you very much for joining, and hopefully you guys all enjoyed. We will see you soon. But until then,
Adios.
bye.